Hi, today we're going to take a look at angles and parallel lines. So I have three figures here. I need to figure out what the variable is, x or y, and I want to kind of justify my reasoning why I got there. So first picture, I have parallel lines. How do I know I have parallel lines? Because these two little arrows tell me these two things are parallel. They're never going to touch each other. Just move on with all of your rules that you know. So there's two steps to this one. First off, I don't have all my information. I gotta put my information on there. So I know by supplementary angles, two angles add up to 180. This is 50, that's gotta be 130. If this is 50, this one's gotta be 130. Okay, now that we have that, we have two routes that we can go. I can say 4x and 130 are the same because they're both alternate interior angles, or I could say 4x and 130 are the same because they're both corresponding angles. Either way, it sets up the same problem. So I'm going to say 4x equals 130, divide both sides by 4, and then x is going to end up with 32.5. It's not the angle, it's just saying what that variable is. And how do we get there? We had supplementary angles, and either by alternate interior or corresponding will get us to that problem. Next, we now have two variables. We have an x and a y. We don't always have to solve them in order. We could solve y and then x. It doesn't really matter. You always want to look for the easiest route that'll get you there. So what do we know? I know 120 and y are both corresponding. And when you have parallel lines, those corresponding angles are going to be the same. So y automatically is 120. Okay, that sets up something nice and easy because these two angles are next to each other and they form supplementary angles. Supplementary angles add up to 180. So I could take this problem and this problem, add them together, set it up, they equal 180. That's what we're doing here. So 120 plus x plus 10 equals 180. Let's put things together and then move. 120 and 10 gives us 130. And then let's move that 130. We are left with x equals 50. So how did we get there for this whole problem? First, we said to get y, corresponding, and then to get these, we had supplementary angles. Now, last, we have a complicated looking picture. We have one ray and a bunch of just segments in here, but still I know that these are parallel lines. So with that, let's just find the easiest part that we can solve first. And I'm going to go with just a straight up x, because when you have parallel lines and a transversal that cuts through, these two are consecutive interior angles because they run along that transversal. Consecutive interior, they add up to be 180. That's one of our magic numbers here in math. So we can say 100 plus x equals 180. Subtract, x equals 80. Great, we know that. Now I can also take this 80 and plug it back up here and figure out what this whole angle is. Let's try it. So we say 2 times 80 minus 50. As we plug that in, you get 160 minus 50, giving us 110. This whole angle up here is 110 degrees. Okay, now we can use this answer to help find this because these two are now supplementary. If I add this with this together, they're going to give us 180. So we can say 4y plus 20 plus 110 equals 180. Let's put together and then start dividing. 4y plus 130 equals 180 minus 130. 4y equals 50, divide, y equals 12.5. Now, again, how did we get there? These two were consecutive interior. I took my x, I substituted in, and these two were supplementary angles. and that's using angles and parallel lines.